Well, my old chums, a Friday is past, and since a Friday is past, you know what that means. It means Tom Macdonald has released another track. My last Tom Macdonald didn't go so bad. So the first one went pretty rough. The second one didn't go so bad. So I guess we're gonna just continue releasing these until either Tom Macdonald, because he copyright strikes every video I put out. I don't know why he does that. Maybe it's. Well, no, he doesn't have a media. He doesn't, just him, right? He's not part of some big group. So if you're getting copyright struck, it's because of Tommy M, baby. But anyway, yeah. This one's called Dummies. So like, it means it's probably going to be one of his political songs, which means I'm going to enjoy it a little bit. Because anytime you can bring awareness to the fact that if you're extreme on either side of the spectrum, that's a bad thing. No matter what you do. If you're hardcore left, that's bad. If you're hardcore right, it's bad. When you start thinking down party lines and not as an individual, you're part of the problem. Everything you do in your life should be based off of context. Every time. It's never one way or the highway. You always have to work off of the information that you have at your disposal, and you have to always think individually. All right. And the problem is when people start just parroting, the lines of their party, the lines of their side, and they don't think for themselves. That's when we have an issue. So anytime Tom Macdonald can put that on display, I fuck with what he's putting out. A lot of people ask me why I'm really critical of Tom Macdonald. And the main reason why I'm critical of Tom Macdonald is because Tom Macdonald tells me he's the best there is. He's the new Eminem. So if you're going to tell me you're hot shit, I'm going to treat you like you're hot shit. Now, if Tom Macdonald wasn't saying he was the best, I would treat him as an independent artist with no help in the industry and that, he'd be suffering. But when you step to the mantle of being the best, you got to be able to roll with the punches. You know what I'm saying? You can't take the heat. Don't get in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Tom Macdonald has done very good songs. My biggest criticism of him over the last 2 years, since I've been hearing about him since White Boy came out, was that his hooks just are lackluster. I mean, and as a rapper, as someone who also rapped in my 20s, like, it was really hard to write a hook, dude. Like, hooks are fucking rough. And, sometimes Tom Macdonald finds ways around it by being catchy enough in one other way or, they're complimenting the music in another way. But typically his hooks are his weakest point. But most of the time you're not listening for Tom Macdonald because you like his hooks. You listen to Tom Macdonald because he's got a message that you want to fuck with, or you want to learn another perspective on something you may not know that you were, looking into. Music is not just about music. Music is about so many other different echelons of things that you got to be able to fucking take it all in. So let's see what Tom Macdonald is working at with Dummies. Let's see what this was. Let's see what's going on right here. It's number 4 in trending. My respect goes to Tom, even if I don't like today's track. Anytime an independent artist can step up to the greats and then slap his dick on them, always gonna be a fucking fuck yeah. Because, the music machine industry, they're vultures, man. They eat up artists left and right. They abuse you, use you, take your fucking money, take what was supposed to be your property, your fucking life, dude, your fucking vibe. And they abuse it, cut it up, and crack it into like some amalgamation to just make them more money. So anytime an independent artist thrives, whether you like what he's putting out, you got to respect the hustle. So let's see what Tom Macdonald's got for us today.
I love that.
Not gonna lie, do not like the style so far, but let's see.
The earth, but I don't really want to save it. Everything is.
I take it back. That bass is fucking fire.
Sexist, homophobic, or it's racist. When life gives us lemons, we're supposed to want to change it. But my generation rather take some pills than escape it.
Facts. So like, I am not someone who often takes pills for anything, even like pain or stuff like that. I don't like the idea of changing my state of mind to accommodate or necessitate a level of mediocrity that I just don't want to undergo. I'd rather be in pain and be me than be in pain and just be a blob that just floats around without a thought. That's why I didn't take medication for ADHD or the bipolar shit when I was a kid. I didn't take any of the medicine, man. From the age of 4 to the age of like 16, I was diagnosed with like 13 different fucking things, and then I didn't take any of the medicine ever. And then one day when I was 16, I went to talk to my doctor, and they're like, "Oh, you're cured." I'm like, well, I didn't know there were cures for this. Oh, well, the medicine obviously worked. Or I was probably misdiagnosed. I don't, or, you know, probably because our healthcare system is fucking ridiculous and it's built upon the premise of making money and not helping people. No, I didn't take your medicine. Like, I remember when we pulled out the fridge at my parents' house when they bought a new one, there were literally thousands of pills under it, like Ritalin and a bunch of other crazy shit. So yeah, our generation is more likely to pop a pill than it is to handle its problems. And that's my biggest problem with people in this generation, is that they like to think that they're unique because of their problems when everyone else is already going through the same shit.
Say that I'm transphobic if you wanna, but one day I'll be a father, and I really hope my son don't grow up to be my daughter.
I mean, okay, that line, I mean, you can have your preferences. You want your son to actually be your son, and you don't want him to grow up to be your daughter. That's cool. But I mean, that is a little, I wouldn't say it's transphobic. It's just a preference. Now, if you would disown your son for being your daughter or becoming a daughter, that would be transphobic. Like, you shouldn't disown someone for the choices they make if they feel like they're trapped in the wrong body. But again, he's just touching on something that is going to trigger people that are easily triggered. I would strongly believe that Tom Macdonald would still love his kid if they wanted to switch genders.
I ain't trying to hurt your feelings, skin should be a little thicker. That's the problem, being honest got them triggered. The kids are getting...
Well, again, though, you were just being honest to yourself. You're making a preference. There's nothing wrong with that.
Weaker because they're sheltered by society. Pumpkin spice Ativan for seasonal anxiety. Wokeness has become a way to bully non-violently and cancel.
Okay, yeah, I know. So that is my biggest problem with being woke, right? So like I've said it before. I used to be a Democrat. I was hardcore left. I mean, growing up, Bill Maher was my hero. Bill Maher. I have some extreme people on YouTube that I followed all the way up until like 2 years ago. People like Shoe on Head, Chris Raygun, The Amazing Atheist, Armored Skeptic. You know, like there's so many of them. I even liked to at one time like Sargon of Akkad for a while. I've kind of moved away from a lot of that because I find that most of those guys are just trolls and they don't really give a fuck about the issues. They'd rather just joke about it. And then, you know, to get paid to make fun of those issues just seems kind of stupid. I'm still a big Bill Maher fan. You know, so like the wokeness thing to me is ridiculous because like, yeah, you can always look at a situation and say like, hey man, they're like, so for example, let's just use Black Lives, dude. Let's just use, you know, the constant argument about whether or not systemic racism is real. Systemic racism, you could argue, is still real. You could argue that because, you know, 30, 50 years ago, we had redlining and we had all of these terrible things in place that systemically, that would be harder for people to come up. And I would agree. Like if you put a generation of people, or 2 generations ago, you were forcing people into poorer neighborhoods. You were fucking those neighborhoods up. You were filling them with drugs. You were filling them with government assistance money. It's going to be harder for people to want to find the need to take care and better themselves. That was 2 generations ago. I mean, that's not very long. And unfortunately, your parents are the biggest mentors of your lives. And if your parents are abusing systems, they're going to relay that information to you. Whether they would do so purposely or intentionally is not really part of the equation. It's just the way that it is. But then you could argue that systemic racism today isn't alive because we don't do those practices. So I would say that there is some form of repercussions or ripple effects from those original decisions from like 50 years ago. Hands down. Maybe not slavery. I would probably not go that far back because that's 200 something years. Like you're not going to be suffering from under something that happened 200 years ago. But something that happened to your grandpa could negatively impact you today. But does that mean that there is no individual responsibility? No. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, no matter what hand you're dealt, it always comes down to individual responsibility. It doesn't mean that it's going to be maybe a little bit harder for you than someone else. Yeah, that's life is not a scale. Like there are things that, you know, if you were born attractive, you're going to be able to excel at things fast. Like you could be a more successful YouTuber faster early on. More people are more likely to click you and trust you if you're more attractive. But does that mean like you're going to be the one that, like Boogie made 2 million subscribers just by playing into the fact that he was fat? You know what I mean? So like, can you succeed without, you know, can you succeed when you aren't necessarily going to be favored to succeed? Of course you can. It's hard work, dedication, and effort. And like, so yes, you should always hold that preface that like, you know, something bad could happen. Like, you know, maybe it's not going to be as easy for you as it is for someone else. And maybe that's a little unfair, but the world is unfair. Everything is unfair, you know? Do guys with small dicks sometimes have really attractive girlfriends? Of course they do. What? Just because you have something against you doesn't mean that you cannot succeed. It comes down to an individual responsibility to push forward and overcome the obstacles in their path. And if you're someone that's going to rather sit there and cry about those obstacles instead of trying to find a way to overcome them, then you're part of the problem. Regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of your skin color, if obstacles being in front of you are so damning to your ability to progress as a person, then what's the point of trying? If you want to just sit at home and complain and cry about it and be in self-pity all day, by all means, man, do that. But no one's going to want to listen to your bullshit. Like, look at me. I'm here on YouTube. I've been doing this 8 years. I have made no traction almost at all. And now I'm uploading almost every day because I got tired of feeling sorry for myself and I decided to start putting in some fucking work again. Again, it's all about perception, man. It's all about individual responsibility and how far you're willing to go and how far you're willing to take things. Okay, sorry about that I apologize.
Tell everyone without improving on the life we lead. Without the white, there's no black. Without the straight, there's no gay. Without the men, there's no women. Without the night, there's no day. Without the idiots, we couldn't laugh at them when they fall. So maybe we need them after all.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, again, though, like we're all idiots in different ways, man. But yeah, no, that was good. That was good. That was a good one.
Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. I guess you love to be wrong, or you don't have the guts of the balls. Dum 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 diddy dum 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 diddy dum. I love that.
I didn't like that. That hook was bad. I'm sorry, Tom. I know you work really hard on your shit, man. But I get what you're doing, bro. And like, dude, the worst part is you don't even have a bad singing voice. That was not a good hook, buddy. But, you know, I applaud you for trying. It's better than anything I've made. So, but still, weak part of the song so far.
Earth, but I don't really want to save it. Everyone's obsessed with making stupid people famous. If a white boy raps, then it's called appropriate. Okay, see, that is one criticism I'm going to give Tom, bro. And it's the same criticism I give NF. We're 2 songs in, right, in the last 2 Fridays, and that same line was in both of them. Tom, eventually you got to move away from the fact that you're appropriating black culture. Like, eventually you're going to have to stop rapping about that. Like, it's in, like, every one of your songs. Like, you are a brilliant young man. You could come up with a little more than that. I'm just saying. But Beyonce does her hair blonde and people say she slayed it.
See, that one's cool. That's good. That's the same thing, but in a different way. Like, so that's so yeah, you're approaching the same topic, but like you did it in a different way. But like, dude, usually I've heard you say that goddamn word appropriation about 300 times listening to your tracks. Usually it's about the braids in your hair, but like, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, bro. Come on, do not reward lazy writing.
Everybody's outraged, everybody's mad. Our solutions to the issues don't make no sense. If stairs are the problem, we build wheelchair ramps. We don't cancel feet or persecute the people with legs.
See, and that's true. Oh, I apologize. That's true. And that's what's wrong with our modern solution To the black plight. What's going on with the black communities, man? So like a lot of people would like to say, oh, well, dude, we want to lift up black communities. We feel like they've been impoverished, they've been held back, whatever. If that's your that's the way you want to go about it. That's the way you want to go about it. But that doesn't mean you tear down white communities to do it. That doesn't mean you demonize white people to get there. There is no reason to tear down another group of people to repair someone else. You don't have to do that. You could just repair that other community.
The feminists who started the movement would be ashamed of so many things. They fought so you could vote. I show your butthole on OnlyFans.
Yo, look, I don't want to make this video too long, but there is something I want to cover. So, like, I had my awakening back in 2007, 2006, when I became no longer a Christian. I woke up to like the crazy shit that the radical left or radical right was doing at the time, bro. And like, you can say what you want to say, whatever your beliefs are now. The radical right was in power. They had to go through a renaissance where we couldn't take them nearly seriously, bro. Like, that was back when if you said anything negative about the war, you were ostracized as a fucking terrorist supporter or whatever. It was ridiculous. The right wing had gone too far. They were ultimately the enemy, hands down. Like, and then the entire YouTube world turned on them, and it was filled with a lot of left-leaning people. The Young Turks started back when they were taken seriously. It was a beautiful time. It was great. But that was around the time Feminism Plus came out. So Atheism Plus, like, feminism jumped on the back of Atheism Plus. And then feminism is such a toxic ideology that it contorted that and then tore atheists against one another. And I remember all of those things. And original feminists, man, they fought for the right to be a part of the conversation, not to dominate the conversation. And today, that's just not the way it works.
I'm not a bad person because you don't like what I say. Call me homophobic just because I think straight. I love people even though we disagree. I wish we could get Wi-Fi signals from a tree. Then everyone would plant them and we'd probably save the planet for free. Too bad we only need him to breathe.
Yo, that was a bar, dude. Yup, that was good. Tom.
That's true.
Oh no.
Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. Hey, yo! I guess you love to be wrong, or you don't have the guts of the balls. Hey, yo! Dum 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 diddy dum 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 diddy dum.
Dude, that hook is really bad. That's really bad.
I love the earth, but I don't really want to save it. Classifying people by their sex and race degrades them, but we still say straight white males are the worst of our population.
Yes! Oh my God, he touched on something, bro. Tom, can I give you a high five? I know you don't know who I am, and I know you never will because you don't look down. But, bro, thank you. Thank you so much. So if sex is this important part of who we are, and sex is something that we can change on a dime, if sex is not equivocal of like to be determined just by your birth, if sex is about how you feel, then why is it that we refer to the people that we do not like in certain circles as the straight white male? Because it's okay to be a piece of shit to people that disagree with your line of thinking. It's okay to be a hypocrite. It's okay to be a fucking liar. Because the bottom line, it's not about solving the problem. It's about going against someone because people think down party lines. Tom, you, sir, if I could, I'd give you a beer, dog. I know you don't drink, but like one beer ain't gonna kill you. Sheesh.
Guess the labels are okay if they're Caucasian. Our kids are living in their rooms. I swear we barely ever see them. Go outside sometime. There's fresh air you could be breathing. Put your phones down. Play sports. Do something illegal. Go and meet your families. They're probably nice people. These days you're a Nazi if you don't hate the police. They say that white folks think all Asian people are Chinese. I'm sorry. What kind of white people you mean? English, Scottish, German, Swedish, or Greek?
Ah, yeah. See, there's a lot of people that would say that white people have no culture, and you just slapped them in the face. You took that dick and you just bam right on their forehead, bro. Big dick style.
And Black Lives Matter was problematic. It excludes anyone without the pigment. It's automatic. I understand all the reasons it happened, but including all humans is the actual answer.
Oh my God, bro. legit. That's the problem. No, like 100%.
Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. I guess you love to be wrong, or you don't have the guts of the balls. Dum 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 diddy dum 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 diddy dum dum.
2 new albums, September 3rd. Sheesh. Eventually you're gonna get tired, son. All right, so let's talk about this. Okay, let's break this down. There was a lot to unpack in that song, and if you're someone who thinks he's just pandering to his audience, like the Third Ernest, you know what's funny, man? I watched that guy when he first started, dude, when he was a nobody, and it was nice to see him be humble and be upfront and watch his shit. And now when I go back and watch his videos, he's the most condescending cunt ever, just because he gets paid to do it now. And I make a promise here, dude. If I ever blow up doing my shit that I do here on YouTube, if I start becoming a fucking dickwad, please, by all means, just kick me in the dick, bro. Let me know. Anyway, sorry about that. That's YouTube beef. We ain't gotta worry about that. But here's the thing, man. Tom Macdonald is touching on a lot of topics that need to be touched on, bro. A lot of people don't realize, even people on the left, they don't realize how extreme things are getting for their side. There's a reason why I left the left. Now I'm an independent. I don't participate on either side of the spectrum. I look at almost every issue based off of context. I try my hardest not to ever think down party lines, and if I start feeling like I'm siding with the wrong people, then I feel like I got to reevaluate why I'm looking at it that way, and I got to try my hardest to listen to the arguments that are being presented to me, so that I might be able to change my perspective. Because at the end of the day, man, neither person is wrong, neither party is wrong, bro. We're all trying to come to a solution to make our lives better. We just disagree on how to do that, and that's it. That's all what being a part of a different party means. So right now, and I got a tip for the left. If the left wants to retain some kind of semblance of being normal, they need to stop this hardcore fucking this war on what it means to be average or normal. They need to stop this war on every immigrant that ever comes to our country should be protected nonstop if they do so illegally. We need to stop, all of those things, because one, if someone is breaking the law, they should. This is already bad. Telling people that you're homophobic if you don't want to fuck a chick that has a dick is not. That's not right. Like, if you don't want to fuck someone who was born a guy, you shouldn't have to fuck someone who was born a guy. There's nothing wrong with the preference. There are so many issues right now on the left that are so extreme that, like, I don't know how you're supposed to salvage the party, because, like, it's so far gone. I don't even like to associate with the right wing, because I disagree so much with their politics. I disagree so much with the way of life. I am not a Christian. I don't believe in throwing out my personal fucking religion down everyone's throats. I hate that shit. And I mean, I never want to go back to the point where if you disagree with a Christian, you're automatically considered a non-supporter of our country. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like when the right is in control, but when the left is in control, they make no fucking sense either. We need to take back this country as moderate people with moderate thinking that are based our decisions off of context. And we need to do that as soon as possible. Have that conversation any fucking opportunity you can. We need to get people that are not extreme, or we need to get the two extremes to start having conversations and try and what's the word I'm looking for? De-escalate them as much as possible. But so a good song from Tom Macdonald. I would not say the hook was really strong. It's probably something I'll put in my playlist, but it's definitely not something that I'm not gonna listen to that one while I stream, bro. There's nothing uplifting about that shit. You know what I mean? But it was a good track. It was a good track. Again, though, the hook was a little weak. I think if Tom Macdonald could spend a little more time on his hooks, maybe release every other Friday, instead of every Friday, he might be able to, hammer something home. But again, really good message. Really pointing out some good stuff. And he touched on some topics that a lot of people won't touch, and much respect for it. The counterculture is real, man, and we need to fight the fucking thing that's in power, bro. I respect it entirely. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll probably catch you on the next reaction.